Hey guys, it's Melissa with Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. So I had a listener send me a message. Hi Asia, thank you for sending me your message, asking me if I thought about doing a podcast on dreams. And I hadn't before, but that's a great topic, so I thought that I would tackle that one today. So I am a type of person that I don't have a lot of dreams, but when I do, at least I don't remember them. When I do have dreams though, they're usually pretty vivid and I do remember them. And some of these types of dreams that I'm going to talk about today, I've definitely had myself. So what does a dream mean? When you have a dream, is there a meaning attached to it? And I'm going to tell you that sometimes, no. Sometimes when you have a dream, I think that it's just a jumble of everything that happened during your day, and if your dream doesn't really make sense, it's probably not really trying to tell you anything. It's just our brains releasing everything, and there is no meaning to it. However, I do believe that some dreams do have meaning, and there have been a lot of psychological studies that show that there are certain types of dreams, especially if you know you're having these same dreams over and over, that do have a meaning and we do need to pay attention to them. So I can attest that some of these particular dreams I've definitely had myself, and it makes sense that I was having these dreams for whatever was happening in my life. So the first typical dream that people will have is when they're being chased in their dream, and that can be very scary. And I know myself that when I have this dream of being chased, I usually look like one of those women in a horror movie where I fall and I can't get up, or I'm running so slowly. And I'm like, my mind is saying run faster and faster, and I just can't do it. Well, often, if we're having dreams that we're being chased, it's because we're running from something in our lives. There's something that needs our attention, something that we need to address, and we're avoiding it. So if there's an issue in your life that you are avoiding, something you're avoiding dealing with, you may see that you have this dream of being chased. So if you've had that, that's why. Some people dream about water in their dreams. I have had a dream too where I couldn't keep my head above water. I was finding that I was taking on water. And I think that sometimes that stands for turbulence in our life, and that we're not managing our emotions well. I think if that's the case, that sometimes you will end up having that dream. I have often had a dream where I am in a car and I am sitting in the passenger side of the car. Someone else is driving. Something happens for some reason that the person who is driving is just all of a sudden not there, and I'm trying to reach my foot over from the passenger seat to try to put on the brakes or to hit the gas or to try to steer from the passenger seat. And it is kind of terrifying, and I know I've had this dream more than one time. And I think that this is all about control for me. It is the direction I feel like my life is taking, and I'm not able to control it. So it's a loss of control that I can't control the direction my life is taking right now. Like maybe something is happening, there's an obstacle in the way, and I'm not able to get to where I need to go. And I think that's why I have that dream. But that can happen if you're dreaming about a car, an airplane, a train, or a ship. If you see people in your dream, I have often heard, and I truly believe this, that if you see departed loved ones in your dreams, it's them visiting you just to tell you they love you, or they may have a message for you. In fact, I think that if you really want to see a loved one who's departed and you would like to visit with them, you could ask before you go to bed. You could ask them to come and visit you in your sleep. When we're sleeping and we're, at night, our brains are resting, that is the easiest time for spirit to communicate with us, because we don't have those walls up in our daily lives. We are very shut off to that. Many of us are. And so if we're sleeping, we're more relaxed and more able to be connected to that spiritual world. How many of you have had this dream where you're in a classroom and you're taking a test you've never studied for, or over material you've never had? I know I've had that one myself. But I think that the reason we have this test dream where you show up in a classroom and it's like the first day of class and you already have a test and you have no idea what's going on. I think that directly correlates a lot of times to tests we're supposed to be learning in real life. We bring lessons with us from our past lives that we were supposed to learn, and sometimes we don't learn them in that lifetime. So we have to bring it to the next one and try to learn it here. So if you're experiencing that dream, maybe there's something going on in your life. Maybe there's a karmic lesson that you're supposed to be learning and something you're supposed to be doing differently that maybe you're not. Have you ever had paralysis in a dream? A lot of people talk about that. That could be that maybe you don't have a lot of control over what's happening in your waking life, but it could also be astral travel. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before or not, but our souls can leave our bodies when we're sleeping and visit the other side, visit other people, other realms. I'm not an expert in that area, but I just know that that is possible. Sometimes when your spirit is trying to get back into your body, you can feel that paralysis, or you kind of have a jolt when you wake up. And so that, you can look up astral travel and find out a lot more information about that. But if you are experiencing that kind of paralysis as you wake up in the middle of the night, it could be the astral travel. And dreaming about death, if you dream that someone has died, that can be a very scary thing to experience, but it really refers, I think, more to death of a cycle in our life, that it is our time to get ready for something new. You know, we often think of death as a really bad thing, but if you follow tarot at all, the death card is usually meaning that there's an end to a cycle, and usually it's a cycle that's been very negative for us, something that's brought about a lot of pain, where we had a lot of karmic lessons we had to learn. And when that cycle ends, we're making room for new and better things. So we're making way for more exciting things to happen in our life, for better things to come in. So death doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. I mean, and we talked about yesterday on the podcast how painful things have a purpose in our lives. And that's true with death too. I mean, think about the seasons of the year. I don't like winter. I'm not a particular fan because I'm not a cold weather fan. I have the type of body that my blood doesn't flow that well. And so my fingers and my feet get really cold. And I just hate it. But I know it's necessary because when the winter comes, death happens, all of the flowers die, the trees die. But it gives way to new life in the spring. And just as the life cycle as well. Some people have to die and leave this world in order to make room for the new souls that are coming in. So it's not a bad thing, even though we sometimes tend to make it that. So if you have grief over something like that, remember, it's just making room for something new. Some people have dreams about flying, and it can feel very exciting to be able to fly. And sometimes when people have dreams where they want to fly, but they can't fly very high, I think that also has to do with control. I think a lot of dreams that we have really have to do with control that we have in our lives. When our lives feel like they're spinning out of control, we often see that in our dream world. I will have a dream sometimes that I have to use the bathroom so badly. And there are several scenarios that happen. And I may be oversharing with you, but sometimes I'll have to use the bathroom and I go in and the doors are like an inch wide. I don't want to use the bathroom where there's no door. Or it's like the men and women are mixed together. Or you go in and all of the toilets are overflowing. I hate this dream, and I do have it every now and then. It's like, oh my goodness, what is this all about? And what I have researched and read is that dream is all about not being able to fulfill your most basic needs in life. So if there's something you're not able to do, And for some people, like a most basic need might be, let's say you've been single for a while and you haven't had a relationship. It's the most basic need for someone to experience love and to be loved and to be touched and things like that from a partner. So not experiencing that could cause you to have dreams like that, where you're not able to have your most basic need fulfilled. Some people have dreams of falling, and that can be scary too. Again, falling, you feel like you're very much out of control. And so I think it has to do with, if you start having these dreams and you're noticing that, take a look at what's going on around you in your life. Is there a situation in your life that you don't have control over? Is there something that is bothering you? Is there a lesson you think you know you need to be learning that you're not learning? There's something, it's all related. Nudity, so have you ever had that dream you walk out in public and you're totally naked? And that has to do with exposing ourselves. So if you have to, for example, public speak, you're kind of exposing yourself to other people and their opinion of you, and that can be very uncomfortable. Or even in a new relationship sometimes, we have to reveal who we truly are to the person we're with, and that can be very uncomfortable. And so we liken that to being nude in front of a crowd of people. If you dream of having a baby, which I've done before, which made me laugh because I have twins and I have no intention of having any more children myself. I don't care if I meet someone who has children, but I don't want to become pregnant again. It was a very stressful time for me whenever I had to do that the first time. So, but I will dream of that. But dreaming of having a baby is actually could be a new idea or a new project at work or the development for growth in some sort of area of our life. So again, like death, birth is giving birth in a new way to new ideas, new projects, new thoughts. So it's not a bad thing. If you dream about food, food can be nourishment. So it could be nourishment if you've been on a spiritual journey, emotional journey, intellectual journey. You've been studying new things. You're hungry for new information and new insight. So it could have something to do with that. So that's just sort of an idea of what I've come to learn so far about dreams. I know I haven't covered everything. There's probably enough to do 2 or 3 podcasts on dreams. But that's, what I know so far and what I've learned. One other common one, too, is I have a dream where my teeth fall out. And that's really a really weird dream to have. But it's like I'm trying to push my teeth back up into my mouth, but then they keep falling out. And I hate that dream. I always wake up from that dream like, oh my goodness, what's that all about? But the teeth falling out dream, I think really is about things that are in our lives. Most of these dreams are about control. It's about things out of our control in our lives, and we're trying to control them. I'm trying to control my teeth and push them back up into my mouth, and I can't. They're falling out. So I think it's all about not having control over certain things in our lives. So as you can see, a lot of dreams do have some meanings, and it makes sense what the meanings would be. But if you're just having really weird dreams that you can't piece together, it could be that maybe your body is telling you need to rest and you need to take care of yourself better. Maybe you're starting to get sick. But sometimes I think we just have dreams and they don't really have any meaning. But like I said, take a look at what's going on around you and listen to your body. If you are feeling worn down, it could be a sign that you just really need to take time out for yourself, treat yourself, go get a massage, take a hot bath, use some essential oils. That might be all it is that you need to do. And speaking of essential oils, I have to brag, I have to tell you, I have been suffering with allergies, and you may have been able to hear this in my podcast lately. I cough, and that's mostly what I've had is a scratchy throat and coughing, and all night I've been coughing. And normally I take the nose spray. So I would take that. It was an over-the-counter, and it helps and it works. It hasn't been helping lately, and I've just been coughing and coughing and coughing. and just like having sniffling and things like that. And it's just been really annoying and making me very frustrated. And I would normally take Zyrtec or something like that. But I hate how it makes me feel. I feel so drowsy when I take that. And to be a teacher, you have to be on point all day long. You cannot be tired and drowsy. You have to be alert and able to interact with the kids. So I hate the way that allergy medicine makes me feel, which is why I was doing the nasal stuff, because that didn't make me drowsy, but it wasn't helping. So I went over to my Aunt Sandy's house last night, and she gave me a sample of the allergy pills through doTERRA. And I never tried them before. And honestly, I just started with doTERRA, so I didn't even know that they made allergy pills. I knew they had essential oils that could help with allergies, but I did not know that they had anything for allergies. So she said, oh, here, I have a few left, take these and see how they work for you. I have to brag. These are called Seasonal Blend Soft Gels. It's Tri-Ease. Oh my gosh, they made such a difference. I did not cough at all last night. I didn't wake up every hour coughing. I took another one this morning. I have had no side effects of being drowsy. Nothing at all. The scratchy throat was gone. So these things were great. I would highly recommend them. And I don't say that lightly, but I suffer from seasonal allergies and it helps so much. And the other thing is that I got one of those really awesome chakra lava bracelets, and you can put the essential oils on them. So today I put a little bit of lavender on mine. It's amazing, and the scent has lasted all day. It's so great. So if you are having dreams where you feel like maybe your body's just trying to tell you to take a rest, or maybe it's trying to tell you that you're getting ready to be sick, like you're going to have a cold or flu or something, take care of yourself. You need to draw a hot bath, put on some essential oils. I love the lavender. They have a calm blend here. You can also take On Guard if you feel like you're starting to get sick. I love that. Like I said, I used to always take the, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a supplement that a teacher made, Airborne. Sorry, I used to take that all the time. And now I've been using the On Guard, and I love that because I think it really does help support your immune system. It decreases your chances of getting sick. So anyway, I hope that this podcast was helpful for you. Don't forget, if you want to join my Purposeful Pilgrimage, the 22-day journey to improve your life, check out my website. I'm going to put the link in the description here. Check out my website too if you want Reiki. Reiki is a great way to get rid of all of those emotional things you're carrying around, the emotional baggage, to help you get a better night's sleep. So if you are having all those dreams, we can do some Reiki and maybe you'll get a more restful night's sleep and you won't be having all of those crazy dreams. So check out my website. Description is in the link is in the description below. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Love you all. Thank you for listening as always. Please like, comment, share it with your friends if you like my podcast. I love reading all of your comments. I loved reading the one about me being the beautiful butterfly. Thank you so much for that. That really, really does make a difference for me. It helps me to know that what I'm doing has a purpose. So thank you all so much for that. And thank you all just for being here. Love you and have a wonderful day. Sending you so much love and light. Bye-bye.